starting off with my eyelid, I'm gonna apply the Too Faced eyeshadow primer just with my fingertips, and then after I'm gonna go ahead and go over that with a damp beauty sponge just to make sure there's no creasing. Now taking a angled dense brush, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Tempera from my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette just to set that primer off. As my transition shade, I'm going to be using Raw Sienna with my Morphe R35 brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that on my crease. Now make sure when applying the eyeshadow you build up. You never want to start off heavy. Next color I'm going to be using with the same brush is the burnt orange. I'm just going to go over top exactly where I put the raw sienna just for more pigmentation, I guess you could say. Now dipping into red ochre with my Morphe Y19 brush, I'm just going to apply that on my outer corner and kind of also blend it into my crease area as well. And sorry for the streaks, my other eye didn't do this, but it'll go away. And just taking my Y18 brush, I'm just using that same shade and packing on the color. Now taking my Tarte Shape Tape and a flat concealer brush, I use the color Fair for my Shape Tape concealer, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp on the concealer to cut my crease. I prefer to tap on the concealer when cutting a crease because it's easier to manage. Whenever I do swipe the concealer, it doesn't turn out looking good, so yeah, I suggest you tap it on rather than doing one big swipe to cut the crease. And taking that damp beauty sponge, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that the concealer doesn't have any creases before I set it. Again, using the first brush that we used, which was the flat angled dense brush and the tempera. Now I'm taking burnt orange and applying that on the center of my lid with my Morphe R39 brush. I'm going to use that again as my transition shade because I want to make like a gradient cut crease look. Raw Sienna with the same brush, I'm going to use that in between the dark shade and the lighter shade. Again, to get that gradient effect. To intensify that red on my outer corner, I'm just going to take, once again, the red ochre with my Y18 brush, and I'm going to go over that to pack on the pigment. That's my mom. She walked in on me filming. And I'm now taking my Morphe R35 to blend everything together so that it looks seamless. Now moving on to the face, I have already moisturized my face. So I'm going to go ahead and take my primer. It's the Kat Von D Lock-It Primer. I absolutely love this primer. It's really good. I recommend if you're going to go to Sephora and buy a primer, I highly recommend this primer. I feel like the foundation stays longer whenever I do wear the primer. Just taking my Maybelline Baby Skin and applying wherever I have big pores. Taking my favorite foundation of all time, the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea in the shade Light Neutral. I'm going to go ahead and apply that all over the face before blending it in with my Morphe Y6 brush. Just going to go ahead and buff it in. Making sure to get your neck and ears. After buffing in my foundation with a brush, I take a damp beauty sponge and I go over and pat it down just to make sure that I don't have any creases or streaks from the brush. Now taking my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade number 15, I'm just going to go ahead and go under my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, on my chin, and my forehead, basically where the light naturally hits. That's where I'm going to go ahead and conceal to make it brighter. Afterwards, once again, taking that damp beauty sponge and blending in that concealer. For my cream contour, I'm going to be going in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade number 35, and I'm just going to go ahead and contour my face. That is my cheeks, my forehead, my nose, and my chin. Afterwards, once again, taking my damp beauty sponge, I'm just going to go ahead and blend out that contour. To set my concealer, I'm going to be taking the translucent powder by Mercier with a Morphe Y11 brush and a dry beauty sponge just to apply the powder over top of the cream concealer. And I do this just to make sure that that concealer stays put throughout the day and doesn't crease. After letting the powder set for about a minute or so, I'm just going to go ahead and dust it off with my Morphe Y3 brush. For my powder contour, I'm going to be dipping in my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette using the shade Subconscious. Just going over wherever I put the dark concealer, making sure that it is set in place. Using my favorite brush to powder contour with, which is my Morphe Y8 brush. To clean up and define my contour, I am taking my dry beauty sponge with my Mercier translucent powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and redefine it. I'm also going to let this sit and bake for a few minutes while I apply blush and highlight. For blush, I'm going to be using my Mellow Muave by e.l.f. and taking my Morphe R4 brush and just blending it in, focusing more on the apples of my cheeks. After applying the blush, I'm just going to go ahead and dust off my bake, once again using my Morphe Y3 brush. To set the face, I am taking my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea 4-in-1 Setting Mist and just spritzing that all over just to make sure that the powders seep in and it gives you that natural non-cakey look. For highlighter, I'm going to be dipping into my Nicole Guerrero Anastasia Beverly Hills Palette and taking the shade Glow Getter with my Morphe Y14 brush and just applying that in the areas where the light hits, so my high points. Taking an angled e.l.f. brush and the shade Red Ochre, I'm going to be going back with the eyes. For my under eye area, I'm just going to go ahead and blend it in so that it connects to my upper eye and outer crease. The lashes that I used were Faux Mink by Ardell in the number 811 with my Falsies mascara by Maybelline. Going in with my Morphe Y20, I'm just applying that highlight on the inner tear duct as well as I applied it on my brow bone. For lips, I used Velvet Teddy by MAC. And to add a little bit of gloss to it, I did go in with my Becca Liquid Crystal Lip Topper Glow Gloss. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to my channel, as well follow me on my social media that will be listed down below in the description box, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!